Hey, Lindsay. Hello, everyone, and welcome. My name is Sharon Bonney. I'm the CEO for COIB, and I'm delighted to welcome you to our second session today. As you know, we're calling today Digital Inclusion Day. We did it. And we're very excited about the session that we have lined up for you. And as we go ahead and introduce the next host, I wanted to talk a little bit about our partnership with Google. So back in 2018, we were contacted by Google, and they wanted to partner to bring Google Applied Digital Skills to local programs all across the country. So we partnered with them for 2 or 3 years on that. And it seemed almost, I don't know, I want to use the word providential because then COVID hit. And we knew that having local programs online and having learners using Google Applied Digital Skills, which is really helping the learners to set up Gmail accounts, helping them become proficient online, learn how to use the internet, was really helpful when we were looking at the pandemic and the need to be online instead of in person for that time period. So that's really how our partnership began. And then from there, we went to offering various certificates for our Google partners. And that was really helpful too, because many of the local programs were saying, gosh, it would be great if we were able to provide certificates for the learners to make them more employable. So we have been partnering with Google on this for quite a few years now on these various initiatives, and it's been really a joy to work with them as we've been able to bring a number of certificates to the marketplace and help our learners to get the certificates they need so that they can go on and get better jobs. Now, one of the things that I have found really exciting about the Google certificates is that on average, the learners make about $72,000 per year or more. So they come into the local program without having the certificates that they need or the employability that's necessary, and they're able to get their certificate and go on and get a job. I also want to say that we were able to hire Google Scholars mentor, Heather Engelhart, who's done a great job setting this up in a cohort fashion. And that has really been a joy to work with her and to be able to help our learners become more employable. So, really thankful for this partnership and this opportunity. Um, I wanted to mention that we do have Angela who's joined us, who is from Google. She'll be going over these various AI certificates that are available, and we're very grateful for that as well. So Angela, I'm going to turn that over to you. Angela Darrisaw, we're giving her a minute here. She was just on a second ago, and we're giving her a minute to get reconnected. You know, today with Digital Inclusion Day, I personally did not have access for um, an entire 3 hours, and it looks like she is now a participant. Angela, let me just get you in here. There you are. We're going to promote you to a panelist. Okay. Angela Darrisaw with Google. Angela, thank you so much for making time for this. And I know we were having some issues here on Digital Inclusion Day and getting you connected. Thank you again. So I'm going to turn this over to you. If you'd like to go ahead and introduce yourself, and then you can share your slides, that'd be great.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And pardon the technical difficulties. I'm Angelina Darrisaw, and I am the National Grow with Google Coach. And I'm really excited to be here today. I'm particularly excited about this topic. AI is something that I think all of us as business owners need to be focused on to really make sure that we're improving our productivity, that we are finding new ways of working.
So I apologize. It looks like we're having a technical issue with Angelina. So I apologize for that. We're going to give her just a minute here. I know everybody's time is super valuable, so my apologies on behalf of COABE for this. Lindsay, I have repeatedly tried to promote her to panelist, and it looks
Same
like,
here.
okay. So just give her a minute here.
I don't know why it keeps kicking her back. Okay, it's putting her, there we go.
Okay. Angelina?
Doesn't look like her microphone's connected yet.
Okay, she's
There we go,
connecting
connecting.
audio. Yep, that's great. Okay, Angelina, I'm not sure what happened there, but we'll give it another shot.
Yes.
This is our adult ed space with the local program coordinators and teachers and administrators. So we know that AI is really important, so I'll pass it back to you.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I am going to go ahead and share screen, and it will take me just a second. And then I'm excited to dive into what we're going to talk about today, which is specifically our Google tools and how you can be using AI. Okay, so let me go ahead and share that with you. Here we go. Okay, great. We are in business. I have our slides up. So again, welcome, welcome. Thanks, everyone. Excited again to talk about how you can grow your business and think about growing your business with AI-powered tools with Google. So we will go ahead and dive into that. And if you all can see my slides, go ahead and just put a 1 in the chat for me so I know you're here. I know you can see the slides and we can keep, yes, okay, great, great. This is what I like to see. All right, so let's move through it. Once again, everyone, I'm Angelina Darrisaw. I've been a small business owner for 10 years, and in that time have had the privilege of being the National Grow with Google Coach since 2018. As a small business owner, I face many challenges around gaining more productivity, around speeding up our operations, and trying to be in that space where, as the CEO, you're not that chief everything officer. And through Grow with Google, this is what we connect with small businesses about all over the country. And this really is a challenge that a lot of small businesses face. So I want to kick us off just with a quick video from a small business owner who is using AI to help grow her business.
We're very vibrant and colorful people. I wanted to bring that into my beauty brand. Turquoise and your yellows and your reds and your dusk, sunset, sunrise colors. Growing up, Chicana and indigenous culture, tradition was the center of everything that we did. And we do, still to this day. I'm Cece, and I'm the founder and CEO of Prados Beauty. Now she glows to the gods. When I was 27, I went to cosmetology school, and I was working backstage at New York Fashion Week. I was in the hub of the makeup world, but no one looked like me. I was tired of being unseen. I have daughters who are also Indigenous, and I don't ever want them to feel how I felt in that moment. So I started Prado's Beauty in my daughter's nursery. When she would take naps, I would work in there and just start doodling and creating things. But not having a business background, I needed to research and really learn about what I was doing. I started going to the University of Google, as we call it. June of 2019, I launched my website, and then a few years later, I took part in our Grow with Google event. When I first learned about AI, I was like, oh my gosh, like robots are gonna take over the world. But this gave me the opportunity to learn about AI, specifically Gemini from Google. I thought this could help my business in a big, big way. So I use Gemini to learn about things like what SEO is and what keywords are important to my brand specifically. But I also use it for creative, fun stuff.
Help me write a social media post using this image. Make it fun and trendy. Oh, how cute!
Also things like packaging ideas. I can take those ideas to my team and say, hey, this is an idea, but I want to tweak it a little bit. Something that would take me all day or even 2 days to do, I can do it, in an hour. It's very helpful for me and my business.
Hi, I'm Cece Meadows, and I'm going to be doing a orange minimalistic look.
For me, makeup is more than just something that you put on your face.
I'm gonna take this pretty light blue.
It allows the world to see you how you want to be seen.
Can't forget the lip gloss.
I always give credit to my Prados because I love them.
To create something that helps someone feel and look beautiful. It's not just an honor for me to be able to do it, but to do it in a way that pays homage and respect to those that came before me. I think that that is a big driver of why Prados has been successful in this space.
All right. I love that video. One, I just love the joke about University of Google, because really we're in this space where we are being more and more empowered to find new information, to seek our own answers. And with Google tools, we really have a great ability to do so. And hopefully in seeing another business owner's experience with using Gemini to help grow her business, that really demystifies for you some of the challenges that might come up with thinking about how do I lean in and engage more and more with AI. And I see a couple of you have put in the chat, hi, Mary Cole. Hi, also Elizabeth and Corey. Go ahead. I love that you all are keep putting in the chat where you're joining from and who you are. That's helpful. And if you can right now, just so I have a context, put a 1 in the chat if you are using Gemini at all right now, so I can get a sense of your Okay, at least one person using Gemini. That's great. All right, so we will hopefully shed light on some other ways to think about how to use these tools. And if you have questions, also keep those coming in the chat, or you can use the Q&A function, and I will try to address those throughout the presentation as well. We'll come back to Cece and Prados Beauty a couple of times in the next hour as we demonstrate a few ways that Google AI can help all different kinds of businesses. I will tell you, there is not a day since I have engaged with Gemini that I am not using it, and it helps me in a variety of ways. So happy to address any of your questions and share some of those as well, some of the ways I'm using it. Just for our time today, I'm going to explain AI at a high level. I'll show you a couple of examples that you can use AI to help businesses succeed, and also give you a couple of resources to learn more. And I'm seeing more of you sharing where you're joining from. I spent a lot of time in Cleveland, going to Louisiana soon in just 2 weeks here. So love it, love it. Keep it coming. So it's always helpful to set the ground foundation with thinking about what is artificial intelligence. And just in a nutshell, it describes the computer programs that can complete cognitive tasks that we typically would associate with human intelligence. And as we think about that, it is good to just think about some of those big shifts in technology that got us here. One of the first big shifts that I think about is about 25 years ago when search engines made their debut. If you can remember your first web search, go ahead and put a 1 in the chat. I want to know. And if you remember what you used to search about, that would be great. I used to use it. Oh, we have Bangladesh in the room as well. Great, great, great. I used to use it a lot because at that time I was in middle school when it was coming out. So I would use it quite a lot for research projects. And I was part of the evolution where when I call my mom Miss SAT because my mom's an educator, always use big words. And I'd say, Mom, what does that mean? And she'd say, pull out the dictionary, right? And then around 25 years ago, I was able to, instead of pulling out that big, thick dictionary, head on over to Google and speed things up. So what was happening was essentially what we were changing the way we connected with the world. And that also created a faster pace, right, in which we could connect. It then also led to e-commerce. So you think about it from a business standpoint, not only changing the way we connected with each other and connected with information, but now it changed the way we connected with business. And then that next big evolution, your initial search was on Netscape browser. Wow, I remember that. Yeah, good call out. And then that next evolution came with smartphones. So that changed e-commerce even more. And it also accelerated that rise of social media, which is a big part of our lives today. And so how we can think about what we're experiencing now is really to think about AI as that next big technology shift, right? Artificial intelligence is that next big shift. With AI, anything that you can imagine, you can create. And I'm seeing new and more things becoming a part, new features coming up frequently, constantly. And I'm able to create even more and more. You can turn text into beautiful images. You can create videos, music, code. You can even talk to your data to gain valuable insights. And all of these different features help accelerate productivity. And even it helps us interact with customers in ways that are more natural and certainly helpful to businesses. Apart from that, AI is also helping us tackle challenges of all sizes. So when we think about doctors, they're able to detect diseases earlier. Banks, if you ever are getting some of those notifications on your mobile where it's, is this a charge you meant to have, right? It's helping us to stop fraudulent charges. We're able to empower people to access information in different languages. So really what's happening is AI is opening up opportunities that can significantly improve billions of lives. And it's helpful with everyday challenges too. So when we use these tools, one example, for example, of how you're using AI maybe in your everyday life is thinking about how AI learns your preferences when you're on streaming platforms or viewing videos, and then detects patterns to suggest content to you. So lots of different ways that we're using AI. For small businesses, this is really critical because it's enabling businesses to innovate and get things done faster. And a concern that comes up a lot is, how does AI affect the small business landscape? And the thinking to really embrace here is you're not competing against AI, but where that you are competing is with other businesses, with others who are already using it. And already, just from a study as recent as December 2023, we found that 64% of small business owners already use AI tools or are planning to use them in the next 2 years. 82% of the businesses who are using AI say they've already seen positive outcomes, and that includes cost savings, improved productivity, and more sales. I want to dive into how that happens. But a couple of just key terms to lay the groundwork for this presentation. The first being machine learning. And this is what gives computer systems, which are the machine, the ability to learn without explicit programming. Instead, it's learning from examples. So using data to train models to perform really complex tasks. And one type of model is a language model. Language models are trained on text data, anything from books to social media posts. And when they're trained, a model uses math and statistics to predict words. And then there's that souped up version called a large language model, or an LLM. You may hear that term. LLMs are trained on massive amounts of data. So now you want to think millions, billions of words. And LLMs are learning patterns in the language, which are helpful for translation, answering questions, and summarization. And it's the foundation of AI models that can create new content, which is the last term we want to talk about, which is generative AI, or Gen AI. Gen AI models learn patterns and relationships that are necessary to generate content. And that can include text, include images, videos, code, music. And this technology continues to grow and change every day. So lots of new features that are being added that are really helpful and allowing us to innovate differently. And many of us are already using AI. If you're using a voice assistant, you use AI. It powers also a lot of features that you see on your websites, your chat bots, product recommendations, and it's being integrated more and more. Most tools that I use for my business have created some sort of AI integration, and it's all done with the purpose of trying to help us get to the answers we need quicker, or to move in a more productive way that can help advance business. So one thing to just think about now is, how then can we leverage Google's AI tools to help make business more productive? And these tools change rapidly. In fact, especially the weeks where I'm presenting and connecting with business owners on these topics, I always love to just check because something new might have come out even that day. And that's happened many times. I've seen a lot of great shifts to the features that make it even more useful for our businesses and the way we do business. So I'll come back to CC Meadows a couple of times today. Again, she's the CEO of Prados Beauty, who we saw in the video, and they sell high quality beauty tools, cosmetics, accessories in a New Mexico store on their website, and also in a major department store. And CC is building success using AI tools to work smarter and also faster. So we'll talk about a couple ways that businesses like Prados Beauty are using AI. And the one is thinking about how to leverage AI to manage your Google business profile. If any of you are managing a Google business profile, go ahead and let me know in the chat as well. I would love to know that. You're unfamiliar with Google business profiles, this is a free way. Okay, good. I see at least one. Let me see a couple coming up. No, all right. So if you're unfamiliar with Google business profile, it's a free way to have your business information appear correctly on Google search and maps. When a searcher discovers your business profile, they'll see your business information, the address, the phone number, hours of operation. You've likely, even if you don't have one, you've likely interacted with a Google business profile before. And this is just a snapshot of what it might look like on a smartphone. And you can see also it has a business description that helps potential customers trying to engage with that business understand what services are offered. So if you are like me, perhaps, where maybe your core skill set is not being a full-time marketer, right? One of the challenges or places that have maybe taken a lot of time is trying to figure out, what is that right marketing speak? What is that language that I want to leverage to engage potential customers to understand how to connect with my business and what they can expect in working with my business. And this is a problem for a lot of small business owners. I always say we might have started a business to solve a problem or meet a need in the marketplace that we saw, but we didn't necessarily start to become our own CMO. And sometimes we need more support in the marketing department. So one helpful feature that AI is powering for Google Business Profiles is the ability to suggest a description. So what this does is within the Google Business Profile, you'll need that description that your customers can see, and it uses AI to generate text that you can use if you wish, or if you want to edit. If you've already written a business description, you can also use the feature to see suggestions for where you can make improvements. So ways to make this even more useful for you is making sure that your business profile information is up to date, and that because it's really the info in the business profile that is powering the draft of the description. So it's a helpful feature to get started. Try writing a first draft or entering in some details about your business. And also you want to make sure that anytime you're leveraging AI that you are reviewing for accuracy. The same goes here. It's a creative tool that can help save time, but you want to carefully proofread. You want to make adjustments if needed. You want to make sure that your business is being accurately represented to your potential customers. And depending on the business category, there are a couple of other ways that Google Business Profiles can help showcase business info. One particular way that I'll highlight, a feature available for businesses in the food and drink category, is creating a digital menu. This was a long time a challenge I would see for a lot of small businesses that had a menu of offerings, whether it was food or drink or another category of services. And what Google AI can do is make it easier to quickly add that menu to a business profile with a photo or a PDF. So what Google AI can do is use that photo or PDF to add the menu items and even include both the descriptions and the prices, and the items can be organized into sections. Here is just a snapshot of how it works. Within the business profile, click the section labeled Edit Menu. At the top, click Photos of Menu and then select Photos, and you can take a photo of an existing menu using your device's camera, or you can even upload an existing photo or PDF and then click Generate a Menu. So now gone are the days where you manually have to insert all of those items and show up on digital. We now are in an era where through a photo with text in it or a PDF, we're able to have that information published or put onto places that we need. For example, here, like a Google Business Profile, and then share that with potential customers. So when you do this, you always, again, want to review for accuracy, and then you want to click publish and edit. And I'm seeing in the chat, Jen says menu can equal classes. Absolutely. If you have a service menu of classes, absolutely. And once the menu is published, you can make edits, you can add photos if you wish. You want to make sure you use a high quality photo, a PDF. It might not work as well if the file is blurry or low contrast. The full menu should fit on one page, be captured in one photo. You can add additional items once it's published. And even if you're not a restaurant, I love, for example, that call out of adding classes. You can there are other features that are periodically coming out. So you want to go back to business profile regularly and see what's available. And I also see a question around integrating Canva. Help me understand what kind of integration you mean. You certainly can post Canva. There's another feature within Google Business Profiles called Post. So if you, for example, were to create a post in Canva, you could post that on your Google Business Profile. And another piece that I want to call out is that AI can also help us jumpstart research projects. Now, likely many of you may have seen these, and I'll put a 1 in the chat if you've seen what I'm about to talk about, which is when we are in that space, or put the answer, I should say, if you've seen what I'm about to talk about, when we're in that space where we need to explore new ideas quickly, typically might we get started? We want to get some get some inspiration. We want to brainstorm, and we want to do some information hunting and digging. Where might we get started? Go ahead and put it in the chat. All right, I'll tell you. Okay, wait, let me see. Did anyone put Gemini? Okay, Gemini, great call out. Yeah, Gemini is great. I'd also say Google search. And that might not sound like new advice because it's been around for 25 years, as we just discussed. But has a Gemini model customized for Google search can give people a search experience that's dramatically better. And how you can think about this is as search supercharged. And you can see this in AI overviews. It helps searchers find what they're looking for faster by providing snapshots with key information, links to dig deeper. They may not surface in every single search, but they appear when the system determines that generative AI can be especially helpful. And there are more helpful customizations planned ahead. For example, people will be able to ask more complex questions, break down concepts into different formats, and more. And it's becoming more and more available to more users in languages and in more regions. We won't do this activity right now, but this is one that you can certainly screenshot or try with yourself or with others later. And this is thinking about how do I use AI overviews? And where I always think is a good place to get started as business owners is thinking about a question related to your business, any topic that you think potential searchers might be wondering when they're thinking about the kinds of products or services that you offer. And then you type that in search and you take a look and see if there's an AI overview. Look at what kind of information is being presented and shared. Look at what sort of links are being pointed to in the AI overviews. And also see if the information being shared is helpful for you. So for example, CC might ask or enter a search like, what are the latest makeup trends? And the information she finds could even give her ideas that she may want to use for content or for marketing, and that she may want to put onto her website or video channels, social media, ad campaigns. So lots of opportunity in even just those quick searches, but it can also help her get an understanding of what is coming up and that she needs to make sure that she's addressing as well for her customers. All right. And another way that CC can use Google AI is to brainstorm ideas to spark some creativity. And this brings us to Gemini, which some of you have already put in the chat and talked about. And this is Google's most capable family of AI models to date. Gemini is not just a single AI tool, it's also more than a family of models. A good way to think about Gemini is as an ecosystem that brings together AI models and Google products. Gemini includes the APIs and platforms that help developers and businesses innovate. Another way to look at it is think of Gemini as a power grid, and a power grid supplies electricity that powers cities, homes, but also even the appliances within the home. So in that vein, Gemini supplies the technology that powers AI models, tools, and the computer programs that also depend on them. And it works behind the scenes in many Google products, but it can also be accessed directly via a standalone conversational tool. To try it out, you'd open a web browser like Google Chrome and visit gemini.google.com. And if you are also on a mobile device, you can use the Gemini app. Gemini is built for multimodality, which means it can perform advanced reasoning tasks across different mediums like text, images, videos, audio, code. And it's constantly evolving. Again, lots of fun features. If it's back to school time, I know, and one of the things that was a great feature that I explored that I encourage all of you to play with is Storybook, where you can make even animated stories just from a really good prompt. You can even decide what sort of takeaways you want included in the stories. And it's a great way. I've been using it to engage some of the children in my life to just get them excited, for example, about that back to school time. And how this all works is it has capabilities like pulling information from other Google apps and services, such as Google Workspace, YouTube, Maps. You can also create images. You can publicly share work with one-click exporting to apps like your Google Docs, Google Sheets, Gmail. And again, it provides coding help in over 20 programming languages. Always, always, always the note here, and we'll talk about it more, is just making sure you're always reviewing for accuracy, for errors, for bugs, for vulnerabilities. And Gemini is available in 230 countries and in 40 languages. So I want to talk about prompting. This is definitely one of my favorite topics because a good prompt is really where you get the value out of the standalone chat tools. And to use Gemini, you need to begin with entering a prompt. A couple of ways to think about a prompt. One way is you can think about a prompt as a conversation starter. So maybe you're coming into a room or a networking event, and you might have to try a couple of different things, right? You might have to do a couple tweaks until you build the relationship you want, or until you find that output that you want. Another way that I like to think about prompting is as delegation. If I was going to share with a member of my team something that I needed them to do or needed support with, I would want to give really clear and direct instructions and give them the resources they need so that they can accomplish that task as good or as the way I need it done. And that's a good way to think about it as well. So what is a good prompt? It follows this simple framework. First, thinking about the task. What is it that I'm asking the tool to actually do? What is the context that I could give it? What references do I need to share with it to make it helpful? And then after I look at the outputs, I may evaluate it, and then I need to then iterate on it to make sure it works for me, right? That's where we try those different approaches. So if you need a good acronym for thinking about it, one can be thoughtfully create really excellent inputs. And so I want to break this down, each of these 5 components. And that first is task. What is it that you want the tool to help you with? Share detail, give very clear language. Something that I use Gemini prompts for a lot is helping me in my business development efforts. So, for example, I might need help coming up with a good idea for a sales pitch. And my background is in really truly corporate strategy, learning and development, not necessarily sales. So I might ask Gemini to help me with this, and I'll use this as an example. I will look at it. So the first would be the task. Can you help me create a sales pitch that I can say verbally? I would be even that specific in a meeting with a new customer or new prospect that knows nothing about my business. If it's a very complex task, break it down into smaller steps. And there are 2 additional pieces of information that you would want to include, and that includes the persona and the format. So the persona is what expertise do you want Gemini to draw from? For example, I would say you are maybe motivating. Okay, yes, you are a very motivating salesperson with decades of experience closing deals for B2B, business to business clients. And I need you to draw on that experience. And the format I already shared was I need this in speaking points that I could share verbally in a meeting. So my format would be bulleted speaking points, right? But you can have different formats. You can say you want an email. You can say you want a list. You can say you want the bullet points that you may want to put on a slide. So you can be as descriptive as you like here. And then the next is you want to think about context. And this is the details necessary to help Gemini understand what you need. I will tell you, I have a good friend who is trying to lean in and use AI more. And she called me. She also has been to a lot of our Grow with Google workshops and said, I keep trying for help with my hair salon, but I'm not having success. And I said, well, what are you trying to do? She's like, I need help with a marketing plan. What was your prompt? My prompt was help create a marketing plan for my hair salon. I said, well, that is not a good prompt, right? You're not specific. You're not even sharing the details about what kind of hair salon you have or what your specialty is. Is it color? Is it cuts? Is it, any range of services? But you didn't share that context. Where is it located? All of these things make for a good prompt. So if I were doing it, I would share context about my business. What have I tried? What objections are we getting in sales? What is working? What's not working? And that all could help create a stronger result based upon that context. So that's what you want to be thinking about. And the next piece that you want to consider is references. So for example, if I have a pitch deck that I've used in the past, I might say, here is a reference, and I would share that pitch deck so Gemini could take a look at that and include that in creating a more useful output. So once I put all of those pieces in, the next step is then to evaluate and see if the output gave me the results that I wanted. And that then leads us to the final part of the framework, which is iterate. So if you didn't get exactly what you wanted, the answer isn't, you just give up on the task. It really is, how do we try again? Do we need to add more information to the prompt? Do we need to tweak the prompt in some way? And even if you are using this framework, sometimes the output isn't exactly what you want. This is when iteration can help. So you want to first revisit that framework, make sure you hit on all those pieces. Did you include the task? Did you include the context, the references, the persona, the format? You also may want to separate that prompt into shorter sentences instead of packing the entire framework into one long sentence. Writing clearer sentences can help. Tweaking the phrasing can also help. And then also introduce constraints or limits. I do this a lot because I tend to like to be very bulleted, for example, in written communication. So I may say, hey, I need this in under 500 characters, and because the initial response might have given me several pages. Can you make this more concise? When you set boundaries, right, it can help Gemini provide a more useful output. So you want to keep trying, you want to keep revisiting these steps, and this will all help you in getting closer to finding those results that you need. And another just fun tip is sometimes when I am struggling with what do I need to put in the prompt, I might even go into Gemini and say, hey, this is what I'm trying to achieve. These are my end results. What are the components of a good prompt? Help me list out for me what needs to be included in a strong prompt for me to ultimately achieve the results that I want here. And we won't do this activity again, but I will show you, and you can screenshot this or write it down. But as I mentioned, sales pitches are one way that you could use Gemini, and you can practice this prompt with your own business or a business that you might be working with. And you can say, you want a persuasive sales pitch that highlights your product's features and benefits and address potential objections, and fill in those blanks. And you can even add more details. You could add more details around what kind of sales experience you want that salesperson to have for the persona, right? You can add more details to get even more specific. And here's another one. If you were a product manager trying to develop marketing materials, you could use this as an example as well. So definitely please take those screenshots and try these. Great ways to just get started with being more specific in your prompts and really iterating on it till you get the results that you want. And I hope that you do feel comfort in creating prompts more clearly with more detail after these exercises. We focus so far on text prompts and asking Gemini to produce text responses, but earlier I mentioned multimodality. So something else you can think about is multimodal prompting. And this is the ability to use multiple modalities like text and image in the same prompt. So for example, I could take a picture of a chart and ask Gemini, hey, can you explain this data to me in plain language? Or I might say, like, let's say there's someone on your team who puts the chart together and they have a data analyst background and they really get it, but you may be a salesperson. You can even give that context and say, hey, this was shared with me by the data analyst. My background is in sales. These are the things I really think about. Break this down for me with that lens, and ask Gemini to write a summary. So really, you just want to use your imagination and think about ways that leveraging multimodal capabilities can help improve your productivity. And please do write in the chat as well if there's any great examples you have of how you use multimodal features as well. Yes, you can ask, can you make this more natural sounding? Yeah, one thing, that's a great call out, Paul. Something else that I've done quite a lot is, let's say I've helped or leveraged Gemini to help me in writing something. It could even be an email that I'm about to send. After I've made all my tweaks, I might pull the whole thing back in Gemini and say, can you point out or call out any areas where this sounds very AI generated and tell me where I need to make edits, right? So absolutely, you can get very conversational with it. So another area that I want to talk about where you can help streamline communication and boost productivity tools is in Gmail, Docs, Sheets, and Slides. Anyone using Google Workspace, let me know in the chat. Now, also these different features I'm going to talk about right now, there are different versions of productivity tools. There's that free consumer version that you may have with a Gmail account. And there's also a professional version called Google Workspace. So the features I'm going to call out right now are available both in the consumer version and in the business version. But first, I want to share with you a quick video of, oh, okay, and I'm seeing some Google Workspace users. Yay, I use Google Workspace too. I'm going to share with you a quick video from Mark Cuban.
I get 1,000 emails a day. And when I saw Smart Reply for the first time, let me just tell you, it was top 20 happy days of my life. Data drives everything. And so for a big company, small company, medium-sized company, you want something that's fully integrated, talks to each other, and learns as it goes. And that's the beauty of Gemini for Google Workspace. For the pharmaceutical industry, the two things that were missing were, one, transparency, and two, trust. And that's really the overall mission of Cost Plus Drugs. Simplify and transparency and be fair. So you know exactly what you're paying for and why. We were able to create a company that changed the entire pharmaceutical industry. With Google Meet, we can have a real-time conversation with multiple people in multiple countries, and it's translating for us in real time.
안녕하세요. 회의에 참석해 주셔서 감사드립니다.
It just makes it easy for any individual to manage their data life, if you will, and to connect everybody else that you work with, whether it's chat, meet, email. It can learn and save so much time that the whole definition of productivity changes. That's Google Workspace. From my perspective, there are two types of companies, those who are great at AI and everybody else.
Yeah, I love that video. There's just so many amazing features, and I get asked frequently, why do I use Gemini versus another tool? I think if you have the time, explore all the tools out there and find what works best for you. For me, because my business runs and operates on Google Workspace, with the integrations of Gemini, make Gemini so just seamless for me to use. So it's been a really great experience. I'm going to just take a quick look at some of these questions that are coming in the chat before we move on to the last couple of slides. And one, will we receive recording? We are recording. I believe you will be receiving a recording as well. How does Gen AI differ from agentic AI? Well, Gen AI produces content, whereas agentic AI is really around AI that can handle a series of tasks autonomously. So it's a bit different in how those two work. And another question, and this is, I think, Mizanir, I hope I said it right, is around privacy and security. And one thing I will just call out and say about this is never share anything that is very sensitive. For example, social security numbers, credit card numbers. I would always avoid using that in AI tools. You want to, especially if it's client information, you want to protect that. It is a closed data set when you're using Gemini. So that is something that a lot of users really enjoy. So thank you for these questions. And then I will keep going and feel free to add more. I'll try to answer some more live. But Gmail uses AI for a range of different tasks, from managing incoming email to also helping write replies. It's got even better where now, for example, months ago, the best it could do was Smart Compose, which were predictive writing suggestions. And that's certainly a great feature. But now we're even getting to the place where there's been advancements where it can suggest a draft of an email for you, and you can accept those suggestions or make edits how you like. But with Smart Compose, you'll see some suggested words in the background, even as you're typing, and you can hit tab to accept those suggestions. And then there's Smart Compose personalization, which is by default turned on. And this is where the feature tailors suggestions based on your writing style that it's observing. One other great way to use this is Smart Reply. So if you're reading an email and you see these in your email where it's snappy replies like, yes, I can be there, no, I cannot be there, that's Smart Reply. And it's really about efficiency. It's about helping you come up with quick answers and being able to reply in seconds. We're getting more emails probably than we ever have. So having that ability is really important. There's also the tabbed inbox, which is how you can navigate and organize your email, and it classifies and automatically sorts emails into tabs like primary, promotions, social updates, forums, and you can train it what emails you want to see in which tab by just moving them over. So that's another great feature. Summary cards will have key information at the top of certain emails like hotel bookings, calendar invites, restaurant reservations. And then finally, my favorite feature is nudging. And this is incredible. If you're, again, really just so many emails in your inbox and it runs on both inbound and outbound, it detects which emails you haven't replied to and predicts which of them you'd normally answer. And after a few days, it will automatically bring unanswered emails back to the top of your inbox with a polite nudge asking if you want to reply. So this is really great for making sure things don't get lost in, as you're just overwhelmed sometimes with a full inbox. And if your business uses Workspace, which it sounds like several of you do, there is an optional paid add-on called Gemini for Google Workspace. This is a suite of generative AI features that work across all your apps. So for example, within Google Sheets, I have been able to tell it an example of what I want a chart that I'm creating to accomplish, and it creates a format, or can do the draft, that first draft, what a chart I need to should look like in my Google Sheets. So great integrations in Google Slides. For example, I'm able to even describe a picture I want. We did this for an offsite. Our team offsite theme was shine like a diamond. And I said, I want a picture of a happy team around a diamond. And it was able to create that right into slides for me. So great features. You want to check that out. We are near the tail end, and we've already covered a lot of ground in our presentation, which I'm glad for. But I want to share just a couple more ways that AI is helping make Google's products more helpful. And if you are using Google Ads to advertise products or services for businesses, you might notice that there's a conversational experience now when creating new search campaigns. It's really designed to help build better search campaigns through chat. And this is, again, back to what we talked about with Google Business Profiles. If you are not a CMO and you need some support with your marketing, it can help with creating those headlines, those search ad headlines, the descriptions, generating relevant keywords. So this is another great feature, suggesting images, suggesting site links, all of these different areas that help improve your ads. And you can find out more at g.co/grow/search ads. I think I'm seeing Sharon come back. So it means that it's almost time to wrap up, but I'll leave you with just one last one, which is Performance Max, which helps drive performance based on conversion goals using the power of AI to optimize performance in real time. So again, ways to make your efforts to stand out to potential customers more useful. With that, I know we are getting to the tail end, so I want to leave you with just a couple of takeaways, which is remembering these key definitions and remembering that these products are advancing and getting new features constantly. The best piece of advice that I could give you is just try it. Just keep engaging with it, keep iterating, keep finding and connecting with others to find new ways that it's become useful for them. Some of my best ideas come from talking to other business owners around how they use AI. And we have opportunities for continued learning on Coursera, as well as with Google career certificates that are really helpful, both for maybe business owners themselves, but also employees, those job searching. And also check us out on YouTube. And all of our resources that we talked about today can be found here. Feel free to take a screenshot of that. And with that, I always like to say, me presenting to you is my gift to you. I only ever need one gift back, which is feedback. So feel free to check out our survey. I will put the link in the chat. And if you have more questions, I'll answer for the last couple of minutes until we close. I'll answer your questions in the chat. I want to thank you all again for your time. Thank you, Sharon. And I will kick it back over.
Great, great. Thank you so much, Angelina. Really appreciated all that information. I put a link in the chat box. It was the COABE Google site because we've had a partnership with Google for years now, and there's certificates that are available, including an AI certificate that is actually our most popular certificate that we offer. And that does help our learners become more employable. But here's the thing. Local program coordinators and teachers and administrators can also get those free of charge. So that's an opportunity for you. We also have the Move Ahead with Adult Ed, which is where you can help get your program on to our sitemap, which we use Google Ads and AI to help drive learners into your program. So wanted to put that in there in that chat box as well. But then I also just wanted to make the point that I know Angelina was kind of tailoring this to CEOs, but I always think of local program administrators as the executive directors of their local program. I always think of them as they're the person who is sort of running that local program and helping to bring learners in. So that's why I thought this was really timely. The AI piece, I think, affects all of us, right? I use AI all the time, all day long. It helps me to be able to drive impact, as Angelina was saying. But I know many of us here on this call can see how valuable this would be. So Angelina, thank you again for making time to join us here. Thank you to all who have taken the time to join us as well. And I just want to again remind you there's a lot of events and things taking place throughout the Digital Inclusion Week. We're going to put that into the chat box as well so that you can see that there. And this is, as Angelina said, that's our gift to you, that you'll be able to join us throughout the week on social media, also advocating with legislators for the value of digital funding, as well as for the free tools and resources we're providing. So thank you, everybody. Have a wonderful rest of the week, and we'll see you live on other events. Thanks. Bye now.